I'm going to try this again for about the umpteenth time. Hey everybody, I'm Don, and today we're going to be looking at cosplays that you guys submitted on Twitter and in the Discord server, Satsupon. Now, the question rises, why me and not Marcos, somebody you probably more than likely would want to see more than me? Well, I have been cosplaying since I was 14 years old. I've done closet cosplays, tracked down accurate pieces of clothing for when I was Doctor Who, Fallout Armored Vault Dweller. I don't have pictures of those. So just please take my word for it. Around that time when I was doing the Armored Vault Dweller, that's when I started doing like EVA foam and small armor pieces, just little bits to go on the suits. It wasn't until recently that I now have like fully gone into doing armored suits, mainly Kamen Rider. So that's kind of like why I'm here, because I know a bit about this. I've been under a few mentorships for various prop making and cosplay skills. I've studied the subject since before I was like 14. I've messed with all kinds of like tech and everything. I definitely like, before I got my feet wet, I definitely like studied and read and learned a lot. Hence why I'm able to like know a lot and be able to talk about it comfortably. I'm not going to say I am the go-to expert. I'm just a guy who knows things, and I know them pretty decently, I'd like to think. So, without further ado, let's turn on screen recording for the, I don't know how many bajillionth time, but I keep getting so many messages. I have not prepared how to do the screen recording. It's a mess. We're fine. We're first going to look at the now locked channel that's probably going to be archived. Show us your cosplay video topic text channel on the Satsupon Discord. If you want to have your submissions again in the future, because definitely is not the last time I'm going to do this, post your images in the Satsupon Discord. We'll have a link below. And keep your eyes on Marcus's Twitter for when there's new video reactions. But let's do this, because I gotta tell you, I'm really excited. I'm really wanting to look at your cosplays. I'm gonna confess, I peeked at a couple of them, but it, I like to peek. So without further ado, let's look at Pickle. Oh wow, wow, these are really nice. So what do we got here? We got Dangerous Zombie. We've got Zoo Ranger Green. We got, what's that? That's Next Fies. That's not the SIC Fies. I thought it was SIC. And then we got Ixa. Very nice. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this as an example to talk about where some people normally start. I'm not saying that Pickle here didn't make these suits, but upon closer inspection, I'm seeing similar techniques that are adopted by people who make the suits. I'm not saying that they didn't make their suit. I'm just pointing out similarities. You'll see a lot of, there's the resin, probably fiberglass resin helmet, foam, lots of EVA foam. It's very well made, actually. Nice weathering. That belt's definitely custom made, because you can tell by the vinyl, or by the paint job and the way this is sealed, and that sticker for Dangerous Zombie and the vinyl that's wrapped around the fingertips. A lot of people will buy their suits, which is still a very like valid form of cosplay. There is some kind of like buyer beware when it comes to suit commissioners, which is one of the big ones. One of the big ones in our community. You probably know the name. If you know it, say it with me, class. It's they can't fucking keep up with their orders, which leads to a lot of orders being delayed and people not getting their suits for years. And honestly, from what I've seen from people who bought from their quality isn't exactly the best. The reason why I'm mentioning this while I'm looking at this person's suit is because a lot of the techniques implemented here are very reminiscent of not just so I'm seeing a lot of similar techniques, like the belt being handmade, really nicely cut and well painted and well weathered, EVA foam, and of course that really nice looking fiberglass / resin helmet. I'm assuming it's resin. I've known some companies do 3D printing, which I'll get into in a bit. But this is like a really nice suit. But when it comes to custom made suits, honestly, everybody down in Southeast Asia, and I've mainly seen it in like Singapore and Indonesia, that community is like cracked. Like they know their way around the knife and EVA foam. They are fantastic. It's honestly phenomenal. And that's why I'm mentioning it now, because the suit techniques here are very reminiscent of that. And then Zoo Green, I'm not going to repeat myself. Very nice stitching. The suit's very well made. And the helmet, that's just a really beautiful helmet. Oh, that's not Zoo Green. I'm an idiot. That's Hurricane Green from Hurricaneger. Still very nice. And of course, listen, Fies, any iteration of Fies is always going to be my favorite design, like, ever. Like, without a doubt. I'm always a sucker for Fies. And this looks really nice. This helmet here isn't actually made out of EVA foam. I could tell by the glue seams and the way the lines or the detailing pieces here have been cut. But that's really nice. And of course, the photo shoot here where he's fighting, that's Delta, or where they're fighting Delta. This just, honestly, like, when you get your suit, or when you make your suit, just get someone to do a photo shoot, man. Because that honestly, that's how I think you capture the memories of making the suit. Because then you have like a really nice way to show people, like, after, like, just like get like some cool photos done. Honestly, always a treat. This is a very nice Ixa suit. That looks like the CSM, which is also great. Using a CSM is always a good idea, especially since, like, because, like, I'm a very, like, large man. I can't use the DX belt straps, so I have no choice but to use CSM style straps, or like those high spec style straps, or just get a CSM outright if I don't have to make the belt, because that could be a little lofty. This is gorgeous. So we're back to resin helmets again, which is always a treat, and just like really good foam work here. I'm really liking this. This is a pretty suit, man. God, and this is my favorite mode for Ixa, so that's always a treat. Okay, so now we've got Shadzler, who did a Tsukasa cosplay. And I don't like how they said tried, because I think they pretty much executed it. You're gonna see me mention this a lot, or probably not a whole lot, but I'll say it here just so I don't forget. Civilian cosplays are always a valid form of cosplay, and there are always people who will like bash themselves, like, I don't think it's good, this or that, I couldn't find the right clothes. Like, honestly, the clothing does not matter, because the belt is going to do 90% of the legwork here, without a doubt. Because if I just wear like a suit, okay, fine, maybe it's Tsukasa's like suit that he wore in one episode, like a nice like 3-piece suit or whatever, and I managed to track down the clothing brand, right? If I'm not wearing the belt, are you really gonna know that I'm Tsukasa? Like, that, not really. But let's flip that and say I just wore what I'm wearing right now, and I slapped like a Kamen Rider Black belt. You'd be like, oh yeah, that guy's wearing a Kamen Rider Black belt, or he's trying to be like civilian Kamen Rider Black. That belt's doing 90% of the legwork. So like, you're not gonna. I don't think people should bash themselves for that. Because honestly, I think this is fantastic. I think this is bloody fantastic. They got the pose down and everything. This is great. I love this. And I'm noticing they use their own belt strap, which that's pretty intuitive. That's something a lot of people have done. Modify, use EVA foam, vinyl, and just kind of like extend like the normal like belt clips just so that fits around people's bodies. Because listen, man, those DX belts, those are tiny. Those are very tiny. We got a Genta cosplay. So I'm going to assume this is from Revice, judging by the driver. That's the... Oh, I have that. That's the Revice driver. So here's another example of a civilian cosplay. They're obviously doing Genta. I don't know Genta. I didn't watch Revice. But honestly, yeah, like obviously people who have seen Revice will know he's doing Genta because he's wearing the belt. The belt is doing 90% of the legwork again. So honestly, fantastic job. Okay, so we got a friend of mine. We got Thomas Jujubee posting posting his cosplays. I don't mean to laugh. Thomas, you should quit right now. No, I'm kidding. These are he made he made these when he was in middle school. Which honestly, this is a pretty good effort. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you can tell it's drive. And of course, like, you know, he made these when he was in middle school. So, you know, we're not gonna really fault him. We'd be like, you did wrong, but like, you know, the foam lines are clean because a lot of people, when they cut EVA foam, I would say don't neglect, like, because I can see it here. Don't neglect sharpening, keeping that blade sharp, because EVA foam does dull the blade. But you know, that's pretty solid. That's the DX. You know, that's the DX belt. God, he was in middle school when Drive came out. Fuck, I'm old, and he's young. He's gonna outlast me and outlive me. But yeah, this is pretty solid. So this so I'll see if we can link it. I'm pretty sure we can. Thomas actually did a video on these two suits. He talked more in depth about these suits, or how he went about making them, and it's a pretty fun video that I've seen before. This one, if I remember the video correctly, he made the ghost suit, because I could see it, out of cardboard, and the drivers out of cardboard, and I think he used some kind of, like, I don't know if it was like a UV reactive or a glow in the dark or just a bright fluorescent, like, puffy paint on the clothes. Like but you know, this is, you know, it's right there. That's Ghost. I can tell that's Ghost. I forget if he made. I'm pretty sure he made this hoodie. I'm like 90% positive he made this hoodie, which, yeah, you know, it's great. There, oh, little baby Thomas, he's doing the pose. What was that? Those are some straps. Yeah, that's looking right. We're gonna move on to the Twitter submissions. That's where the bulk of the submissions are. We didn't get a whole lot in the Discord, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with most recent. There we go. So we have, oh, yeah, wow. Okay, this is from Chansey. And they say they made the whole suit and helmet themselves. I mean, naturally, because that's definitely an OC design. That's a really nice OC design. Although the suit isn't entirely finished, I'm updating the belt and more to make them a little more thunderous. Cat emoji. That's really nice. That's really cool. See, that's something I see. I haven't seen like a hell of a whole lot. I've seen like a bit of it. I've seen a fair bit of it. Is OC cosplays of like original Tokusatsu heroes. And that's always really cool. Like design, like there's always something really fun about designing your own character and then making it like real and you're wearing it. Like that's always a treat. And I really like this design. I'm seeing a little bit of elements of MMPR with the white diamond. I'm gonna assume it's some kind of cat-like, has cat-like features, judging by the way the helmet is, unless that's kind of getting Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog vibes with the helmet. But yeah, that's really good. I like this a lot. My old and dearest friend TokuFan75 coming at it again with really nice civilian cosplays. He and I talk a lot. We hang out a lot. We've seen each other in real life a lot. One time, but when he always talks, he has one of Axel from Kamen Rider Double, but he always does really good closet cosplays. So this is like a closet cosplay, which is just basic closet cosplay. Is you get clothing out of your closet that like invokes the same feeling or looks very similar to the character you're trying to cosplay, and that goes just beyond civilian cosplays. That could be like anybody who's like design is primarily like fabric based clothing. Even going to like a thrift store or just getting it like secondhand cheap, always a good treat. He did this with Aruto, which I really like. This is really nice. And then of course we got Fua, and of course he's doing Fua's classic pose. Yeah, no, I think he knocked it out of the park. Very good job. We're gonna be seeing like a lot of civilian cosplays because suit making in and of itself is a very difficult thing. It is not easy. If you don't know what you're doing, it can become very overwhelming. So we've got Rocky or Roxy. He did, that's Banjo Ryuga from Build. Okay, for Toku cosplays, I've done only one / technically two, being two version of one character civilian form / outfit, being Banjo Ryuga, aka Kamen Rider Cross-Z from Kamen Rider Build. And yeah, honestly, really great job. Because for Banjo, you really just need like a varsity jacket or a bomber jacket with like those dragons or like the elaborate pattern thing that he has on the back. And these are really nice. I assume that's a wig. That might be their actual hair, but I don't know. That like it's really on point. It's really good. It's really great. Oh boy. We got my buddy Jim. This is my friend Jim Kelly. Jimbo Slice on Twitter at Crop Top Saber. Pretty sure he goes by that on Instagram. This is a very good friend of mine. We always meet each other at the cons. I'm not gonna lie, we do look pretty good together in our suits. He gets his commission from some very good people. A couple of them Aniki, a couple people from Indonesia, because once again, like I was saying before, Indonesia. I'm pretty sure Indonesia and Singapore and other parts of Southeast Asia are just like absolutely like mental when it comes to Kamen Rider cosplays. They are phenomenal. These are like really fantastic. Like the chest here. This is like fiberglass, I believe, some type of fiberglass resin. With pretty sure that's foam. I think he said that he needed to get this fixed up or something, but like this is a fantastic Kiva suit. This is one of the pics of his cosplays that I always see get shown around, because this is honestly like, this is fantastic. We got Kuga. I've seen this one in real life. This I'm pretty sure the belt here is made out of urethane, and it's really nice. Like I've seen this. This is a very beautiful suit. This is really great. It costs a lot of money to make these suits. I know a lot of people, to get their suits made, have been using Transform Studio, which they have really good prices, and they're pretty good with their orders when it comes to their commissions. So if you want to get your suits like custom made, if you don't want to make them yourself and kick back and have a beer, can't blame you, honestly. Transform Studios is a pretty good way to go. I don't think he did Transform Studios for these, though. I highly doubt it. But like, regardless of that, like I've seen this in real life. That's a great suit. We got. Oh, I've seen this one. But that's his Kamen Rider Amazon, like the Showa one. This is once again a very nice suit. I actually helped him get this on when we were both at Morphicon. And what's really interesting is that the fins, because Amazon has like fins on the back. It's like made out of foam, and it's hollow on the inside, and it actually like it hides the zipper on the jumpsuit really well. You had to like zip it up, and then it sticks on with Velcro, and that was pretty interesting to see. I remember him showing me pictures of the suit maker he commissioned, and they sculpted this out of like some type of like, I think it was like some kind of upholstery foam, but it's like very flexible. It's very flexible, and according to him, and of course I believe him, the helmet was very breathable, which that's pretty interesting to know. So that's Jim. We got, oh yeah, 3-frame Jad. I've seen this suit. I've seen this at Power Morphicon. I am pretty certain he made the suit himself, because I remember seeing, like, I never like went up and talked to him. I didn't realize it was a longtime mutual of mine, or a follower of mine on Twitter, until after Morphicon. But had I known, I would have come up to him and be like, dude, wow, great suit, awesome. And this is awesome. This is Kamen Rider Legend from Gotchard, and he did a really great job with the foam work on here, because if I recall seeing it like in real life, it's like actually made out of EVA foam. And then we also have Geets here, which this is also made of EVA foam, and this is like pretty stellar too. I would have probably made the chest stick out a bit further, although I'd have to look at Geets again. But this is a really nice suit. That's made out of is that made out of resin? Ooh, he had to do a quick repair. There's a bit of hot glue and some white tape to hide that. That's really nice. Nicely painted too. He did a great job. Man, his paint skills are like really good. Then we have, oh, Neon Cyan. I actually remember giving them advice on this helmet, or on doing the suit in general. They had Z wobble happen with the printing, which essentially on a 3D printer. So this is like another like method, which is 3D printing your armor pieces, which is what I primarily do. I primarily 3D print my my cosplay pieces. They 3D printed their suit here. I know the file that they got this from. They got this from Aria 3D or Raw Product 3D, because when it came to Shin Kamen Rider and Shin Nigo, which are basically the same helmet, different colors, everybody that I saw downloaded these files and bought these files, and this was like what people were primarily using for their helmets if they weren't making them out of foam. The chest plate there, I know because I use these, the chest plating here. This is from D-Zackers, which is another 3D modeler that does the Kamen Rider helmets and armor. If you message them, that people download a lot from. It's always Aria 3D and D-Zackers, because they're first in line when it comes to releasing files. Like probably within like before the most recent show or film comes out, to like within like the first couple of weeks. And this Uncle Hulk. This is where I actually get my jumpsuits from. This is an Uncle Hulk jumpsuit. I'm pretty sure. And then the boots you can probably find from Google. But yeah, no, this is really great. They had Z wobble on their helmet because essentially like Z wobbles when like on the Z axis when the linear rods are out of alignment, so it'll cause like these really bad like scritchy like wobbly details on the helmet. And I'm really glad they reprinted it. I don't use the Aria 3D helmet. Up until recently, I was using D-Zackers helmet because I find that one to be more accurate in the detail, because I'm very much a stickler for accuracy. But I'm not using that helmet anymore because I'm overhauling my Shinichigo suit. I said that in a post a while back. But I've got something in that. You'll see that. You'll definitely see that. So we got that. Ooh, we got another Shin Ichigo. A lot of people do Shin Ichigo for cosplays. And I always see a lot of EVA foam. So I'll say this isn't a bad first attempt. This is a good first step. I'm going to use this as an example. I've noticed there's a common misconception with EVA foam in that, oh, it's really cheap and easy to use to make cosplays. Yes, but EVA foam takes a lot of practice. You got to keep the knife sharp, so that way you're not getting the jagged and dull cuts like I'm seeing here. And I'm not meaning this is any disrespect. I'm just mainly using this as a good example. You're providing me a very good example for this. There's making sure that you're tracing your shapes well after you make your patterns. And there's a lot of difficulties, because if you mess up anything on EVA foam, or if you run out of EVA foam, that's more material you got to buy. And you got to keep buying material just to constantly make it. This is kind of why I stick to 3D printing primarily, because 3D printing, it's the difference of spending like $200 once versus having to constantly spend $200 every time I want to like get materials and make any part of a costume. I just spend $15 on filament, get the files printed, or make 3D model, make the file, get it printed, sand it, print it, and then I'm moving on. The other reason why I prefer 3D printing is because I like the optimized workflow. Because while I'm working on, let's say, the helmet, I could have the armor printing in the background while I'm working on that. So that's that's multiple things happening at once, thus optimized workflow. People will say, "Oh, well, 3D printing is cheating because you're not actually making it out of hand and all this stuff." And I'll get to why it's not in a second. But or I remember getting to a verbal spat with someone on Twitter about 3D printing being cheating because Transform Studios, they 3D print their helmets, which is completely fine. You know, while the helmet's printed, they could be working on other pieces. It helps maximize and is more efficient with the time. 3D printing is not cheating because 3D printing, I feel, is a very versatile tool. I'm never going to say that there's such a thing as a bad cosplay unless it's like derogatory in some fashion. What I will say is that you can't go on a journey, you can't take a journey without taking that first step. And this costume right here is an excellent first step. And I really hope we get to see how you improve in your craft going forward. And I really can't wait to see what you have next for us when come the time I do another one of these reaction videos. Next, we have Faye Macy. Ooh, here we go. We got another civilian cosplay. Oh, that's really nice. That's Magma Knuckle. Let's see what they say here. Ancient Macy cosplays of Banjo and Tsukasa. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, because Banjo just always has that like really punk. What I will say is, great job. I'm liking that. I'm a fraud. I haven't seen Build, but I don't remember this varsity's jacket or bomber jacket. But it's still the same idea. It's got like some kind of elaborate pattern, and it's a bomber jacket, and you've got the driver. So there's like 90% of the legwork being done there. And then, of course, you have Tsukasa. So same idea. Yeah, they even got Tsukasa probably be the only one that I would argue where you could, if you were amongst a bunch of Toku fans and you went there without a driver and just had like the pink, I forget what model film camera it is, but that camera, like Decade's camera, people would know you're Decade because that's a very distinct piece. As long as you have like a very distinct piece, people are gonna know you're that character. Not that people need to know you're that character, but I wouldn't say like those that are like bashers like, oh, it could have been better. Like, no, like you guys are doing great, and this is fantastic. So great job. There we go. Next we got Frankie, Toka Frankie. Yes, a buddy of Pronghorn Gem and Company. They film very excellent henshins. The Pronghorn Heroes channel. I've seen them film a bunch of them, but Frankie did an excellent Shinken Red. He actually made his helmet out of, you can't quite see it. I can pause the GIF. He made his helmet out of EVA foam. Like, he did it by hand. And this is the example of like keeping the blade sharp, using quick seal, which is like a type of floor sealant to hide the seams, and like rub it with water to hide the seams for the different pieces when you're gluing it together. Contact cement, that's another thing. I know a lot of people don't like using contact cement because of the toxic smell and the fact that it contains a chemical known as toluene, which is very bad, especially if you're trying to have kids, because that could make you infertile. It's horrible if you're not wearing ventilation, that is. But sometimes you can't ventilate your area. So one will say, how will I put it together? And some people like hot glue, and I say, you. No, don't use hot glue on the seams because you can't actually get a closed seam, and the hot glue can break apart. I like this suit. Oh, and to top it off, he made that sword, the Shinken revolving blade thing with the little zoetrope style mirror. That is an excellent piece. I saw this costume in person, and I thought it was a treat. So we have we have Ultraman Arc, and I could tell that it's Ultraman Arc because they actually, despite how I'll say it does look strange, but there's stuff to commend within this attempt. They get the general shape right. A very creative approach that I like to get the Ultra eyes is sunglass lenses, using some type of reflective paper / vinyl for the blue detailing. I'm gonna assume some type of fabric mask with EVA foam on top. They even went as far, and I actually like this, as to sew on their the red fabric. So they did everything from the ground up. And like I said, this is there's always first step cosplays, because listen, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Yeah, no, this like on first impression, yeah, this can look a little strange, but it's not bad because it shows this kid's potential, and there's a lot of potential to be had here. The fact that they even thought of using like popping out sunglass lenses to do the eyes speaks volumes as to what they're capable of. And even I don't know how to sew yet, and they're already sitting here cutting it probably out of like old T-shirts, I'd imagine, or some type of like fabric, and sewing that onto a base body. Like like they got it. They're on their way. Good job. Let's move on. Oh, let's talk about me. No, I'm kidding. This is my friend Cannon Fodder RX, one of my greatest friends, a best friend of mine. This picture is from the first year I went to MomoCon in 2023, and this was my first time ever making Shinichigo, and I'm using that raw product 3D or Ario 3D helmet with the raw product chest, and I made the belt. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about Cannon here. He went as a Shocker Grunt from Shin Kamen Rider, and I actually helped with this. I half made this. I basically tracked down the mask, and then I commissioned someone, or I believe it was D-Zackers, to 3D model the belt, which that was really funny sticking on at the hotel room or at our Airbnb. I basically like broke off the clip because we didn't want to ruin his belt, and I just went like cupped his crotch. I put like sticky tape on, and I was like wham, and it stuck on for the day. It was pretty hard to get off actually, but we did it. He used a simple suit jacket, some type of work pants, dress jeans, cotton gloves. It was hot in Georgia. He was a trooper for doing this. This was really great. And we were doing like a duo cosplay. I was Shinichigo and he was a Shocker Grunt. This mask is something that they had at the theater in Japan, and I'm pretty sure he tracked down the hat himself. But I always treasure those memories, and I thought it was a really great cosplay. So much so that at one of Calvin's photo shoots, or that photo shoot, because there's a friend of mine named Calvin who does photo shoots, Tokusatsu photo shoot gatherings, where everyone's in their Toku cosplays and they gather, and we're taking all kinds of pictures, and they always come out great, and it's always a treat. It's actually one of the main reasons why I started going to MomoCon, so that I could participate in these photo shoots, because I really wanted to meet everybody, and it was a treat. And so much so that we got this lovely picture, because I believe we were suited riders, or I think this was like after the photo shoot, where it's me and I forget who this was, but this is a really nice X8 cosplay. They got this commissioned, if I recall, where the X8, where X8 and Ichigo are beating up a Shocker Grunt, who's he's kind of accepted his fate here. Always a treat. Oh god, that's always fun doing MomoCon. Can't wait to do it this year. So we got from Gil Poker. Let's see, Iguanazilla. Frank, I forgot to mention those names. We got Gil Poker. Well, these were some cosplays of civilian rider forms that he has done over time. 2024 was Shinosuke. 2024 was Shotaro. And then this is Ace Yukio. They were more cosplay for fun, so they are nowhere near perfect. And in part, I'm a little ashamed of these photos. I don't see why you have a reason to be ashamed, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, because you have the belt, it doesn't matter if you didn't track down accurate clothing items, if I'm assuming that's why you're disappointed or ashamed of these photos. I can tell, this is Drive. This is Shotaro. You've got like the basic outfit, and you've got that driver. I don't know if it's the double driver or the lost driver, but I can tell you're being Shotaro from Double. And of course, Ace, he wears something like a little bit more snippy, snazzy. You got the driver. Like, there's 90% of the legwork. To be ashamed of these photos, I think, is completely foolish. Because listen, you did this. You want to take the pictures? Yeah, absolutely, by all means. Okay, yeah. What? All right, maybe they're a little edgy because you're doing a pose, whatever. But we're all a little edgy sometimes if we're thinking we're like feeling cool or feeling comfortable in our skin. That's completely valid. To be truthful. Oh, we got Calvin. Haha. Yeah. This is Kamen Rider Snipe. I remember helping out with this one. Let's see. Got to give it up for my first Kamen Rider cosplay ever. Dawn printing me my dream helmet. Oh God, yeah, that helmet. So this is another cosplay I helped out with. Just full disclosure, I'm not a commissioner. I just kind of help out my friends. Just in general. So don't come messaging me, asking me if I can print you this thing or that thing. I'm gonna say no. I am not a full-on commissioner. I don't know if I ever will be. Don't pester me about it. If I become a commissioner, I'll let you know. Highly unlikely though. But this helmet was a nightmare. So this was when I had only one printer in my workshop versus the multitude that I have now to optimize the workflow. And that was the CR10 Max. That was my first printer. I wanted a large volume printer because I wanted to be able to print the majority of my parts in one shot. This was around that time before I actually started doing armor cosplays that I was like doing a lot of test prints and just kind of like getting an understanding of techniques and like how everything is supposed to feel before I finally decided to dive in and do my own cosplay. But in regards to Calvin's, trying to print this Snipe helmet was a nightmare. So, but yeah, they made the foam pad, the armor padding out of EVA foam, and then he got the chest 3D printed at the college they were at during the time, and I'm pretty sure they got the suit just off of Google. This wasn't Uncle Hulk outright. This is like a cheaper, more breathable Lycra spandex suit. There's some more pictures there. Yeah, this is a great cosplay regardless. I'm really glad that they are at least happy with the helmet. I'm not, but not because of the paint job or anything that Calvin is, because of what I fucked up on in my fucking dumb printer. I'm eventually getting that updated with some different tech and extruders, just so that I can have it up to snuff, because this might be the only bed slinger I keep because I'm putting a multi-material system. Oh! And we got Lady Cass. We got Cass, who is one of our editors on Team Satsu, and they say, our Tokusatsu cosplays so far. Our first helmets and armor were definitely a labor of love. Proud of what we did, learned a lot, and hope the next build comes out even better. Cosplay partner, because it's their actual partner, Evil Antho. So yeah, we call them Cantho. It's a little ship name, whatever. So we got Shotaro and Philip. We've got Ankh and Eiji. We've got Zenkaiser and Two Kaiser, or Zenkaiser and Two Kaiser, and then same picks again. I actually know about this. They made the chest and the armor bits out of EVA foam, and I think they did a really good job. EVA foam is one of those things that like there's a lot of practice that needs to be done, and they also acknowledge that where like it's hard to like have the shape retain because you got to heat form it. And you also got to deal with all of that, that like nasty contact cement, because that's the normal method. But if you ever encounter that problem with the toxicity, ventilate your area, safety mask, safety goggles so it doesn't get in your eyes. But I really like these suits. I don't know where they got the jumpsuits from. I'm not going to assume where they got it from, but yeah, I think this is a really good execution here. And then we have XM Lewis has another Ace Yukio, which is always a treat. I love Geats. I thought that was a great show. And yeah, they kind of got the right idea going. They've got some type of like long piece of clothing. He's kind of looking a little more snazzy than other civilian riders. Yeah, this is awesome. This is great. I love this. And I'm guessing they're Geats or Ace at the end of the series because of the Boost Mark 9 buckle. We got from Josh the Toku fan. I did a few. Some of my most recent are Armored Tyranno Ranger and Shinosuke from Drive. Okay. Yeah, that's Shinosuke, and that's... Wow! In progress picks. I like that. Hold on. So I'm assuming that's a Lightning Collection helmet. More than likely. That's always great to get the prop replica because when you can, saves you some time. I normally don't because I always hate the inaccuracies with certain prop replica helmets. Like in the Star Wars Black Series, I just end up like not spending the money and be like, I can make it myself. But here, these are really nice, clean lines. That's an excellent job. That's really nice. And then let's see, do we get a final product? We do. That's actually quite good. Did they use hot glue? I think I see a little hot glue. I'm on to you, I think. I don't know. But yeah, no, that's an excellent piece right there. Good props to you, man. Oh, we got Keza! All minor casual / civilian / humanoid versions. Because I'm going to assume because they have Yarakar. But shows what you could do without a suit. A suit will be shown though. A suit will be soon though. And yeah, right on the money. So we've got what I'm assuming is custom painted shoes because this is Yarakar. This is their humanoid version of Yarakar. I don't remember where they got or where she got the jumpsuit that she uses. I do recall. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if she painted her face mask or if that was like custom printed. But very excellent job. And then I also saw the Captain Marvelous one. I saw both of these cosplays at Power Morphicon. These are always fun. Oh, we got Lupin J! The helmet I had was printed by Dawn, photo taken by Keza. So yeah, so this is another time I was helping out a friend. It was printing the Don Momotaro helmet. Luckily, this helmet is what led me to buy more than one 3D printer. That was the CR10 Max. I eventually got an Anycubic Cobra Max, and I got a couple other printers / machines. So that way I could like optimize my workflow because I was also at the time doing my very first Kamen cosplay. Initially it was Geats, and then when I realized I didn't think I was going to be able to get Geats done in time for Momocon 2023, I actually ended up doing Shinichigo. Shinichigo was just my backup cosplay, and that became my bread and butter and what a lot of people have seen me wear when I go to cons. I didn't paint this helmet. I didn't paint the Snipe helmet, and I didn't paint the Don Momotaro helmet. I got it printed, but in order to have some help, I had Stickosaurus help me out. He did me a huge favor by printing Lupin J's helmet. That way I could just make sure that the helmet just like got to him in time before the con he was going to. The reason why I ended up getting more printers, another thing that printing this helmet, or Jay's helmet, taught me was that printing downstairs here in my workshop during the winter leads to PLA prints warping really badly, and that's what led me to moving a lot of my printers upstairs. Although, of course, I'm not doing that anymore. I've been slowly getting heating installed so that way I could keep running this stuff during the winter, because it's a pain trying to get like these giant printers moved upstairs, which is also kind of why I slowly wanted to transition towards doing enclosed machines. Stick did a very good job with the paint job here, and I believe Jay got the rest of the suit made of EVA foam from a different commissioner. He got the source from a lot of places. He really liked Don Momotaro. He also has a really nice Lupin Red cosplay that's like really solid. It's good stuff. And we've got our final submission here. This is my first cosplay with EVA foam, and this is Showa era Ichigo, I'm assuming. More than likely. They did a really good job here. I do notice, because I'm seeing a lot of like paint strokes on a couple of the EVA foam cosplays. Look into Plaid Effects paint. That is a paint that is flexible, meant for EVA foam, that can be thinned with water if you want to airbrush, so you don't have to even use any toxic chemicals. And it's self-level, so it hides your paint strokes, which is a really good plus. And this is honestly great. The jaw probably should have been shrunken down, but I love this. There's the common technique I see, because doing those like compound eyes is very difficult. So what a lot of people do is they'll get like soda bottle plastic, and then they'll get like this type of like liner that has like a grid liner that has all these holes. It's very soft, and they paint that red, and they just like kind of stick it on the inside. And then of course radio antenna for the helmet. Obviously, naturally, that's what you're supposed to do. Some type of tracksuit. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is Showa era Ichigo. I would like to say I'm not exactly the best when it comes to EVA foam either. So I have something here I pulled out of the old my room. This was my first attempt at doing Ichigo. This was for an old video project that will never see the light of day. Trust me, do not ask me for that. But I went overzealous with the contact cement, and it's really rough in some places. I did make sure to keep the knife sharp, but this is really jagged. I don't even think, does this fit me? Oh yeah, it does. It does, but it's tight, and I kind of made this wrong. Yeah, so God, that looks horrifying. Oh, yeah. So you have that. So trust me, I ain't much better at EVA foam either. There's a reason I'm sticking to 3D printing. I'd assume if I did more EVA foam, I'd probably get better at it, and that's definitely something I want to do in the future, because there's just some suits that cannot just be 3D printed outright. There is also an over-reliance on 3D printing to 3D print everything. I've seen some people 3D print hats for Kamen Rider Skull, which that doesn't really make any sense. Just get a hat. Saves you time on having to make a hat and sand it and paint it. Just get a hat from a thrift store. Don't try and 3D print the fabric parts of suits, because that just doesn't make sense, because you're giving up mobility in that regard. But I'm not going to ramble about that. I really like this, even though it does look it does look strange. Where I'm not gonna like sit here and lie and be like, whoa, but like, once again, an excellent first step, and I see a lot of the understanding of the techniques. So you can only get better from here, my guy. Like, this is great. From G Jewel, Washikara gift, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much all the submissions that we have, which is fine. I wasn't expecting like over 100 plus submissions, because look at the way I could talk about this endlessly. The reason why we even started talking about cosplay on this channel is because pretty soon, like I mean really soon, like keep your eyes on Twitter and on the channel here, I'm gonna be doing cosplay tutorials, or just documenting what I'm doing for my cosplays. And I'll give you a sneak peek of what I'm working on. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a lot. So, if you haven't figured it out, it's Kamen Rider Gav. But why don't I just 3D print it and sand it? Well, my friend, you're gonna have to see that pretty soon. So stay tuned. I've been Dawnbreaker, and I really hope I get to see familiar faces the next time I do a cosplay reaction. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time for this video, I'll see you guys real soon.